There's three things that I'm going to cover in this Aldergrove market update to give you the upper hand and the advantage when it comes to the market here. First one being is where the market is at, right? We are now in the summer months of the real estate market, and so you do things differently because it's the summer. The second one here is going over the detached, the townhome, and the condo segments, because each of those segments, there's different things happening. And the last one here is showing you some real estate tools that are going to be super helpful, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. I got one for you that you need to be using, and lenders and brokers aren't talking about it. And so stay tuned for that. But back to the first one, what's happening here in the real estate market? And so as you can see, this is a graph that lives on my website. You can use it whenever you want. Link in the description. And right over here has medium sale prices, all properties. And as you can see, over the last 5 years, prices have continued to decline. That should come as no surprise, right? It's happening everywhere else, and Aldergrove is not immune to it either. Sales right now. And it's interesting because every single season in a calendar year, the exact same thing more or less happens. The trends happen, right? So right now we can see we had the initial push, right? All the way up to June, and then it declines, right? We have the initial push all the way up to June, and then it declines. The initial push, right? Pretty much a little bit different, right? It's not always exactly the same, and then it declines. And basically what's happening here is that nobody wants to go and do things during the summer months. And so that's what's happening right now, right? People are out on holidays, they're doing vacations, they're out doing things. And so if you are trying to sell your home right now and you're getting no activity, well, just be patient, right? September, October is when more activity happens. And so you can see that in the data, right? October, spike, right? This one was not as big of a spike, but it went up a little bit. And then 2025, there was a big spike in October. And so we're most likely going to see the exact same thing happen here. New listings. Now, this again, the trends more or less follow each other, right? We have the push of new listings over the spring and early summer. It declines. And then, we have a little bit of a push here in the fall. And so right now we've had that push, right? And it's interesting because Aldergrove is also one of those markets where it's not that many homes here in Aldergrove. And so it does tend to be a little bit more volatile with these types of graphs. So just keep that in mind. Active listings. And so right now, I'm sure if you live here or if you've driven out here, there's for sale signs everywhere, right? Like we can see the active listings at 106. If you go to the all-time listing here, we're almost beating 2010. We're not quite beating 2008 where there was lots of active listings. And what that means, if you're thinking about buying a home right now, you have lots of options. But if your house is for sale, you're thinking about selling your home, the unfortunate reality is there's lots of competition. And so you need to either be in a better location, have a better condition of your home, or be priced right. Ideally, all three of them, and your house will sell. There's still buyers out there, so don't be totally set back because of that. Sales to active listings ratio here, and this is a ratio between how many actives are out there versus how many are selling. And so the less sales per active, it becomes more of a buyer's market, and the more sales per active becomes a buyer or seller's market. So it's kind of pretty straightforward. So right now we're sitting at 11%. The real estate board says anything below 12% is the buyers, anything above 20 is sellers, and anything between 12 and 20 is the balanced market. So right now, as you can see, over the last 3 or so years, it's becoming more and more a buyer's market. So you buyers out there, you have opportunities. Sellers, you're just gonna have to adjust your price accordingly to get the property sold. Now, days on market, this is always an interesting one because, buyers will be like, hey, how long is it going to take to sell my home? Well, right now in Aldergrove, you're looking at about 18 days. And I wouldn't take just 1 month of data. I'd take about 3 or 4, right? And so collectively, it's probably going to be about 15 or so days, which is actually quite a bit less than other cities out there. So keep that in mind. Percentage of original price. So this is for you buyers out there. How much can I get off the price that it's listed for on realtor.ca? Well, right now, you're looking at about 3.3%. So $1 million home, looking at about $33,000. Now, again, that's on average. Could be more, could be less, just depending on where the property is marketed. And so that is step one, just understanding what's happening here, right? We have essentially prices going down, sales, there's less sales, new listings are up, so you have more competition right now. Active listings at all-time high, right? Or not all-time, but quite a bit higher. And so essentially, it's becoming more and more of a buyer's market. So sellers, you got to sharpen your prices or improve your homes. And buyers, you can wait. You can literally wait to find the home that you want. Now, what I will say on a caveat on that is that if you are trying to find a home in a specific neighborhood or specific spot, and it is priced well, like it will sell. And so don't wait forever, because then obviously you'll never purchase anything. But just keep that in mind. And so the next thing I want to talk about now is the detached, the townhome, and the condo markets as a whole. And so over the last 5 years here, we've basically seen a decrease in the townhomes, the detached homes, the townhomes, and the condos. Detached obviously being the biggest, which is kind of typically what happens. And so I imagine more or less things going to happen. Right here, Aldergrove, million, almost 1.1 for detached, went down 7.4%. Townhomes sitting just under 600K, 3.9%. And then apartments there, about 6.5%. And so what we're seeing here is that townhomes across the board are the ones that are kind of holding, percentage-wise, the most amount of value, right? They're not going down the most. Now, doesn't mean they're not going down substantially, but it just means they're not going down as much as everything else. Sales here, right? Again, because it's a smaller town, there's not too many sales that happen on a monthly basis, so the data can get very skewed. But essentially, if you hold the principles as what happens on a seasonal basis true, where like springtime comes around, more activity happens, summertime comes, less activity, fall time comes, more activity. And so again, if your house is on the market right now and you're like, man, no one's coming to see it, well, wait till the fall, because more activity tends to happen. New listings here, right? We have a lot new condo listings coming in the market, right? So there's lots more activity or more inventory for you. If you're interested in that, detached, there's much more. But again, once we kind of hit, once August kind of finishes up, we'll notice that most likely there'll be less new listings. Now, active listings here, right? This is an interesting one. The condo market, we have lots of condos, right? We can just look, and then most likely there was like a development that came up, or most likely in there. Or who knows, maybe there's more people wanting to get out of condos here. And so we can kind of see it over the trends over the last, 25 years here, is that detached, we're definitely higher than average. Condos, we haven't seen this high ever. And so keep that in mind. And then the townhome market, it was up here for a bit, now it's been down. And so I would say it's somewhat normal. And then we go to the 5-year graph for the sales to active listings ratio, right? Most people are going after the detached market. Townhomes and apartments are kind of, there's less people interested in those. Days on market here, apartments, we were at like 101 days or something. And so again, this is like the volatility. That's a word somewhere there. You know what I'm trying to say. Of just the market being smaller. And so this is on average what homes are taking to sell. Now, percentage of original price here, again, townhomes is saying it's 100%, which if you look at like the last, quite a few months, it definitely wasn't 100%, right? And that's just because like maybe one townhome sold for the exact price it wanted, right? So that's kind of the what happens here in the reality here in the Aldergrove market. And so that is step 2, when I just wanted to break down each of the segments there. And again, you can go check this out on my website. It lives there for free, which kind of leads me into the last one here is the real estate tools that I want to show you. This is the first one here, right here. You can literally check out all the other cities that you can compare them. So if you wanted, like, if you're thinking about moving to Langley versus Aldergrove and you wanted to know, the price difference, let's just say, is like, okay, if I were to sell my house here and I had to buy a townhome, a detached in Langley, like this is the kind of the price difference, right? And you can compare them to like all of the different cities out there. So it's pretty cool, interactive, especially if you're thinking about like moving from one city to another city. Now, if you want these reports sent to you on a monthly basis, you can literally just select the ones you want, download them, and then from that time on, I'll just continue sending them to you. That's the tool. Now, if you want to know what those reports look like before signing up, you can literally, let's go back here, Aldergrove. You can basically just look at it, right? You can see the solds, the new listings, what's happening here as a whole. Again, this is just high overview information, basically just getting pulled from the graph that we just saw earlier. And then just a bird's eye view of what's happening here, right? Which is always super cool to see. Again, free market reports down there. And then basically the home evaluation tool, this is a super cool one. If you want to know what your home is worth, in a matter of seconds, you can essentially just put the address in and essentially it'll send it to you automatically. Now, what I will say, full transparency, myself or my business partner, Clark, will be reaching out to you. It's just a matter to see if you need any help or if you want some guidance on what you should do for your situation, because everybody's situation is so drastically different. Now, you can also use it if you think about buying a home. You're like, hey, what does this thing think this home is worth? Because right now, obviously, homes are, getting, I think it was 3 to 5% off of the asking price. So you can also use that as a metric, but you can also just try this tool out. It's super handy. And the last thing I want to show you here was the true cost calculator. And this is the one that first-time home buyers, they need to use, because brokers and lenders just aren't talking about this, right? And I literally had a situation where my my new client that I just got last week, the broker told them they could afford that home. And then when we broke down everything, all the costs associated owning that home and their lifestyle costs, because that's the one that most people don't talk about, they actually couldn't afford it. And so back to the calculator here, real quick. If you want to figure out how much it costs to sell your home, you can use this information here. Super handy. If you wanted to buy a home, right? So you first-time home buyers out there, you've never done this before. What's the cost associated to buying a home? Well, it's all the costs are associated here, so there's no surprises. You can literally fill it all out. Now, the Own tab, this is the one, again, if you've never owned a home before, how do you understand or know what it costs to own a home, right? And so here it is. You put all the information in. A lot of this information can come from realtor.ca. If you just scroll down, there's going to be some information there. But if you need some help with this, like, I have no problem just spending a couple minutes with you, or even half an hour if you want to just go over this in your situation. Because again, everybody's situation is so different. Stratified property, you can put the information in there. But the last one here, which is the most important in my opinion, is the lifestyle cost. So this Own tab, if you fill it first, it'll pull the information from that tab. This is where you put in your take-home income after tax, your fixed expenses, car insurance, all this information. And then it'll spit out a number basically telling you how much you are gaining or losing each month. And that's the number you want to understand before you purchase something. Because trust me, the last thing you want to do, and I've heard this story, unfortunately, too many times, somebody buys a house and then now they call them house poor, right? They literally can't afford the current lifestyle that they used to have. And so now they got to change their life and they're not too happy. So go check those tools out. But if you are going and checking out houses or open houses here in Aldergrove, I want to encourage you to watch this video right here, where I literally go over how to spot a bad house in 60 seconds. So literally you walk up to the home, you know what you're looking for, so you're educated and confident in making a decision. And so go check that one out. But as always, I appreciate you watching, sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next one.